Coming to you from this stunning home, Moore Avenue in Croydon. Welcome to our Noel Jones Ringwood Market Update.
Well, February was a really exciting month for us. We had a lot of new properties come onto the market, and what it's meant is we have now 14 auctions coming up in the next few weeks. And Tian, a number of those auctions are actually some really beautiful character weatherboard homes. So what can you tell us about a couple of lovely homes coming up in Heathmont?
Yes, the first one will be 21 Tadger Road in Heathmont, and we have another one, 33 Stoddard Street in Heathmont as well. They're both very close to the station, very good pocket in the Heathmont area, and they're only just two streets apart.
And of course there's this beautiful home that we're in here today, number 4 Moore Avenue in Croydon. We can tell us a little bit about this home.
Sure, 4 Moore Avenue is placed in one of the premier area in Croydon. It's got a 5-bedroom, 3 bathrooms, close by shops, schools, parks. Also, it's been maintained really well by the owner. Not just condition, also the characters. It's a very good home for an established family.
Yeah, beautiful family home and really well renovated. Well, there's some exciting homes coming up for us on the horizon. We look forward to sharing these properties with you over the coming weeks. You can always keep a track of it with social media, through our Facebook page and through our YouTube channel with the innovative videos we're doing.
Well, one of the most discussed and important parts of selling a home is around presentation. So we've got Tanya, who's the HIA design expert at the upcoming home show, to take us through a few key points.
Thank you, Michael. Yes. What I want to talk about today is actually helping people reduce the anxiety and the stress around getting their home ready for sale, because it can be a very stressful time. So the first step I suggest to people is to look at your home through the buyer's eyes, the potential buyer's eyes, and really depersonalise and just take the emotion out of it and declutter. So basically take away all the unnecessary items that you have been neglecting, do a bit of a sort out, and you can even consult an expert to get that.
Someone else, such like yourself, absolutely.
Yes, that's right. So then you're actually going to be unveiling the architectural elements that you might have missed in your home, and you're opening up the spaces. So
absolutely,
it really helps you to understand the architecture of your home, and then you know what to highlight and what not to. Yeah.
I think you were saying colours are really important to the design process.
That's right. The next stage would actually be to think about the decorating. So once you've opened up your spaces, you've got some gaps, so that's when you can introduce some colour. I do stress though, you've got to be careful about not overdoing the colour, because accents really are only an accent. With accent pieces, I like to stress that you use perhaps 20% of those colours in the home. So don't overdo the colour.
So simple splashes of colour.
That's right.
Just to highlight the room.
That's right.
Space.
1 or 2 key pieces in the room would work sufficiently.
Absolutely. So talk us through what's hot in trends at the moment.
Okay, so at the moment, things that I'm loving in interiors are plants, indoor plants. They've come in a big way back into fashion. Things like macrame pots that were around in the 70s, put macrame hangers with pot plants. Certainly a lot of different kinds of vessels and pot plants around with beautiful geometric patterns and stripes and colour. And even things like wall vases where you can actually introduce some foliage, etc. So they're really interesting things to have in your home.
Bit of a throwback to the 1970s in some ways.
It is, yes.
Get that retro styling.
That's it.
So very kindly, Tanya's offered to provide a free style audit checklist, which you can get from either our office or from greenroominteriors.com.au. We certainly welcome it, and we thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Michael. It's a pleasure.
I'd like to introduce Kerry Lucas, leader of our property management department. I'm managing six of the team members there. Been in property management for 20 years now. I guess, Kerry, what I want to know, we're getting a lot of landlords and investors that ask us for advice about how can they best get the returns from their property, or best returns from their yields, and what to look for in a property and those sort of things. Have you got any advice on that side of things?
The best thing a landlord could do when they're looking for an investment property is, would they live in it? I think if a landlord would live in the property, a tenant would live in the property. It needs to be well maintained, good location, close to schools, close to public transport, shops, everything that you'd want for in your own home. If a property is well maintained, it'll attract a good tenant.
Okay. Well, maintenance is a huge issue. I know that's a constant challenge sometimes between landlords and tenants. What's the importance of keeping it well maintained? Why is that so important?
Well, if you keep it well maintained, you're going to get a good tenant that will look after the property and keep it well maintained, so that when they go to vacate, you're going to get your property back in a good condition. It's also important to keep it maintained so that when you're trying to look for a tenant, there's not a lot of downtime finding a tenant.
Okay, so less vacancy time.
Exactly, yeah.
And we often get asked what sort of property would be best to buy. Should someone buy an apartment, a house, or a townhouse? What would you sort of advise in that regard to the rental side of things?
Yeah, it depends really on what you're looking for. If you're looking for something that's going to be low maintenance, maybe an apartment or a unit. But if you're looking for long-term growth, perhaps a house. There'll be much better growth in a house.
Okay. Now, what about rental increases? I know that's always an interesting discussion with landlords and tenants. What's your sort of thoughts on the best way to go about that?
Yeah, it's important to regularly increase your rent, and perhaps smaller increases, like annual increases, are better than like a big lump sum increase every couple of years. If it's a smaller increase, you're probably likely to keep your tenant there for longer. But if you do a big rent increase, you may find that you upset your tenant, and your tenant will give notice.
Okay, makes a lot of sense. Well, thank you so much, Kerry. That's been great. Hopefully it's been helpful for everyone.
Yeah, thanks, Brett.
Marksy, having grown up in the area like yourself, we've both seen some huge changes over the last 30 years, but none more so the last 12 to 18 months, where Croydon's seen its biggest growth spurt.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic time for the market. Look, I think, with the prices around Melbourne going through the roof over the last 12 to 18 months, what it's done, it's forced buyers further out. And people are starting to look at Croydon as a really viable option. I mean, when you look at Main Street Croydon with the range of restaurants and amenities in the area, the public brewery, the little dumpling house, the range of options on Main Street, it's just a fantastic place to be.
I think too, the infrastructure that's been put in closer in, obviously you've got Ringwood's been spent a lot of money spent on it, but more importantly, the bypass and Eastlink has made Croydon more accessible for Melburnians throughout across the board. So that again is pushed the prices up because buyers are looking further out.
Yeah, it's brought us closer to the city. And I mean, that's had a big impact on everything. I mean, like yourself, growing up in the area, it's hard not to love it. I mean, you've got everything from sporting facilities. We've got more than one swimming pool in the area, football clubs, cricket clubs, tennis, it's all here.
Things have come full circle in Croydon. Just like myself, I moved out of the area and come back in. We're seeing a lot of young couples come back into the area and renovating old homes. So the face of Croydon is really changing and really improving.
You want to come back, you want to raise your family here. You want that familiarity, and Croydon has plenty of that.
I think too, just quickly, I want to touch on auctions in the area. A lot of buyers are looking to buy in Croydon, therefore perfect auction conditions at the moment. We're seeing multiple bidders at each auction, so a fantastic time to look at the way you sell your home, and also that has changed a lot in the last 10 years in Croydon.
Yeah, I guess in a rising market, auction is definitely the way to go.
You may have noticed the guys have been wearing teal ties and teal pins to represent ovarian cancer. This is a charity that Noel Jones proudly supports. $50 from every sale goes to Ovarian Cancer Australia. You can give a gold coin donation at one of our open homes or at reception. This will help us support this worthy cause. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.